Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to wrap up our discussion on the topic of web. We'll be learning about parsing HTML file format. Recall that I mentioned parsing HTML is not as simple as parsing JSON. It is very easy for us to parse a JSON file or a JSON string into an appropriate Python data structure using the JSON module load or loaders functions. In today's lecture, we are going to learn about a type called Beautiful Soup, which is part of BS4 module, which will enable us to parse HTML file format. We are going to learn about a structure called Document Object Model, which we'll be using to extract useful information from the HTML files. We'll be covering a lengthy and complex demo as part of today's lecture, which will enable you to understand the complexity involved with parsing HTML file format. Let's get started by doing a quick recap of what happens when you type a specific URL within your web browser. Recall that you'll be sending HTTP GET requests to the remote server hosting this domain, asking for the resource of resource.html. The remote server is going to process the HTTP GET request and generate HTTP response packet, which will contain useful header information along with contents of resource.html. Once the web browser receives the HTTP response packet, it is going to generate what is called as document object model or DOM tree. We'll be using this simple HTML format to understand the structure of DOM tree, which is going to be very simple. We'll be taking every tag within the HTML format and adding that as a node to our DOM tree. Excuse me. The vocabulary that we'll be using within the DOM tree is going to be element for every node. Elements may contain attributes. An example would be this anchor element, which contains the href attribute. You can look at the corresponding tag within the HTML format. Elements may contain text. Example would be this hypertext about within the anchor element. Elements may contain other elements. An example would be this body element, which contains this anchor element. The body element is going to be called as the parent element. The anchor element is going to be called as the child element. This terminology is consistent with any tree terminology. You're going to add an arrow from the parent element to the child element. Once the browser generates the DOM tree structure, it is going to use it to display the rendered version, which is this neatly formatted version of the HTML format. What if instead of using a browser, we want to go through these steps using a Python program? Let me give you 3 examples as to why you would want to do this within a Python program. Let's say that you're interested in verifying the HTTP header information in order to perform a sanity check on a set of URLs to verify that those websites are accessible over the internet on a periodic basis. You can use the request module get function to send the HTTP get request and capture the return value, which is going to be the HTTP response object. Recall that you can extract the status code within the HTTP response header by typing r.status underscore code. Then you can perform appropriate verification with the status code. The second example would be for you to download the contents of the remote resource into a local file. The remote resource can have HTML or JSON or CSV file format. Recall that we can access the contents of the HTTP response by typing r.text. In this example, I'm opening a brand new file using write mode, and I'm just using the write function call to write r.text into that particular file object instance. The third example would be for you to use the DOM tree in order to parse the HTML file format. We are going to focus on the third example as part of today's lecture. We'll be using the Beautiful Soup type within BS4 module to parse the HTML file using the DOM tree. Let's talk about the Beautiful Soup module. Beautiful Soup module requires installation. Recall that we already covered installation of this module as part of the initial Python installation using Anaconda. If for some reason you're not able to execute this particular line of code, which is importing the beautiful soup type from the BS4 module, please try to execute pip install beautiful soup 4 command inside your terminal or PowerShell window. Beautiful Soup module is going to enable us to convert the HTML file format into a DOM tree, and we'll be able to use the DOM tree in order to find specific elements. And once we find the specific elements that we are looking for, we can either look up the text of the element, attributes of the element, or any of the child elements within that particular element. Let's go through example code snippets using the Beautiful Soup module. The first line of code here is saying from BS4 import Beautiful Soup. We are importing Beautiful Soup type from the BS4 module. Then I have defined a HTML string within a variable called HTML. We are creating object instance by using the constructor function call for the type Beautiful Soup. The constructor function call is going to take two arguments. The first argument is going to be the HTML format for which you want to generate the DOM tree. The second argument is going to be a string called html.parser. Beautiful Soup module enables you to parse other file formats, but for the purpose of this course, we are going to use Beautiful Soup only to parse HTML file format. So you can always assume that the second argument is going to be the string html.parser. Beautiful Soup constructor function call is going to return an object instance to the DOM tree, which we're capturing into a variable called doc. Instead of hard coding the HTML string within a variable HTML, we could also receive the HTML format from a remote resource, which we are fetching by sending HTTP GET request. We can use the request module to do that. Otherwise, we would also be able to load the HTML file contents from a local file by using the open function call. Those are going to be the three different choices for the first argument when you instantiate Beautiful Soup. We'll be using this particular rendered version of HTML file format to go through examples using the Beautiful Soup module. Here is the corresponding DOM tree for this particular HTML file format. Let's first learn about the Prettify function as part of the BS4 module. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the fact that when you have HTML file format or JSON file format, if you do not have a pretty version of the raw file format, it is going to be very difficult for you to read the contents of the file even though it is plain text. Prettify function simply creates a neatly formatted version of the HTML file format. You can invoke the Prettify function on a specific DOM tree using the corresponding variable, which is going to be doc over here. The next function that I want to talk about is the find_all function. As the name of this function suggests, it is going to enable us to find all the elements which have the name which is passed as argument to that particular function. We are going to invoke the find_all function on the doc variable that will enable us to find all the li elements within the entire DOM tree, which represents the HTML file format. Recall that li stands for list item. The find_all function is always going to return a list of the elements which we are capturing into a variable called elements. In this particular example, we have three li tags, all of which are within this ul element. So we are going to get the length of elements as 3. Since elements is a list, we'll be able to iterate over every item within elements by specifying for e in elements. What else can we do with individual elements as part of the DOM tree? First thing which you can do is to extract the text. In this particular example, the text is going to be X, Y, and Z. You're going to extract the text using the get underscore text function. You want to extract the text within every element. So you're going to use the E variable, which is the for loop variable here. You're going to specify e.get underscore text open parenthesis, close parenthesis. And this particular code snippet will display X, Y, and Z over here. Notice that you are just getting Y without any of the bolded format, even though you have the bold child element within this second li element over here. The get underscore text function will only retrieve the text within that particular element. Let's go through one more example. You can use the find underscore all function to retrieve non-contiguous elements. An example would be if you invoke find underscore all function on doc by passing the string b as argument. Observe that within this DOM tree, you have the bold element in level 2 and in level 4. Beautiful Soup is still going to be able to retrieve a list of these two elements, which will go into the variable elements. So when you print len of elements, you're going to get 2. The next function that I want to talk about is the find function. Find underscore all function is going to enable you to find all occurrence of a specific element. Find function is going to enable you to find the first occurrence of the element which you pass as argument string over here. So when you say doc.find of string li, you're only going to get the very first li element, which is this first li tag under the ul tag. One good thing for you to do always would be to assert that the return value of the find function is not equal to none, to verify that you're actually able to find the specific element that you're looking for. Here is another example. You can find the ul element by saying doc.find of string ul. You'll be able to use the element that you have already found in order to find child elements within that element. Let's say that you're interested in finding the bold element within the ul element. You can invoke the find underscore all function using the ul variable by typing ul.find underscore all, and you need to pass the element name, which is going to be string b, as argument. You'll be able to string both of these function calls together. You can say doc.find of ul.find underscore all of b, which will retrieve all of the bold elements within the first occurrence of the ul element. Let's go through examples of inspecting a specific element. Let me explain the slide arrangement here. Here is the rendered version of the HTML format. Here is the raw HTML file, and down below is the Python code. The first example that I want to show you is invoking find function in order to find the first occurrence of anchor element, which is going to retrieve this particular element details here. The first thing which I want to talk about is how to retrieve children of a specific element. You're going to take the element variable, which is going to be link here, and then specify dot children. That's going to return a list of elements for you. In this example, that particular list of elements is going to contain this italics element and this just text part and this bold element over here. The next function that I want to talk about is the get underscore text function. We have already covered an example of that. You can invoke the get underscore text function on any element. An example would be link.get underscore text. This is only going to retrieve the text within the element. It is not going to retrieve the formatting associated with it. So you'll end up getting just this string, please click here, even though you have children elements within this anchor link element here. The last thing which I want to talk about is how to retrieve the attributes of a specific element. You'll have to type link.attrs. This is going to be similar to typing link.children. Get underscore text alone is going to be a function call with the parenthesis. Link.attrs is going to retrieve a dictionary where your key within the dictionary is going to be the attribute name inside the corresponding HTML tag, and the value is going to be the attribute value. In this particular example, the key is going to be string href and the value is going to be string schedule.html. I'll wrap up this video here. Between now and the next video, please make sure to go to the course website and download the template notebook file for today's lecture. You can do that by searching for Web3 and clicking on the code link. Download demo underscore lec underscore 33 underscore template.ipynb file.